Salut la gang, je suis vraiment contente d'introduire Nate aujourd'hui parce que le sujet me parle énormément. Puis, il en reste combien de Rhino? On est rendu au 85e, fait qu'il en reste 5. Il reste juste cette semaine, le Black Friday, vendredi, je capote, pour vrai. Puis aujourd'hui, je pense que ça va settler votre momentum pour le reste de la semaine. Il en reste vraiment juste 5. Fait que gardez votre momentum de la semaine et je me parle à moi-même, d'accord? Parce que j'ai parlé avec Ed tantôt, il me comprend, il fait gros sourire. Mais on est rendu à 86, mais il en reste juste 5. En tout cas, 5 avec aujourd'hui. Bon, je suis peut-être mêlée dans mes journées. Merci, Dania. Donc, Nate va nous parler du relationnel enroll. On en a parlé beaucoup, mais versus le transactionnel enroll. Donc, Nate, are you ready?
Absolutely. Are you guys ready? Awesome. Okay. So we're going to talk about something today that is, well, first of all, my name's Nate, and I'm an independent promoter with the company Prove It. And we're going to talk about something today that may be one of the most important things or one of the biggest differentiators between, making a small impact or making a big impact. Okay? So this is for people, this specific conversation that we're going to have today is for people that want to build a business, that want to make an impact with this conversation. Okay? And this is a huge deal. So the conversation between transactional and relational is a huge deal. And I want to explain to you why that is. And I want to give you some practical advice on how to be more relational in your business, okay? Because here's the cool thing about the technology that we have. So we have amazing technology, ketones. I've been drinking them every day for years now. Awesome stuff. Keep getting better. Flavors, amazing. Okay? Great packaging, great promotional material. Very, very easy to market. Very, very easy to be transactional with. Okay? One of the crazy things about our company is that many people, I've heard, I don't know the exact statistics, but many people have way more customers than they do promoters, right? Is that the case for anybody? Do you have more customers than promoters? Right? So because we have a technology that really, really works and we have great material, great packaging, great everything, it becomes very, very easy to be transactional with this. And so what can happen is that if you are 20-1 mix it, that's a lot of us are like that. So because it's so easy to market this stuff and to get it into the marketplace, it becomes very, very easy to become transactional and to get an artificial sense of how much impact that you're making, right? So what I'm trying to talk to you guys about today is how to leverage this platform, right, to impact the majority of people, because we're not in a sales environment. So we're not a retail store, okay? We're not a GNC or a supplement store, right? Where people come in and they buy something and you're selling it at retail price, you buy it at wholesale price, and then the markup is what you get. And then you're only limited to whoever walks into your store. You're only limited to whoever's right in front of you. And so if you can leverage this platform, okay, network marketing, you call it network marketing, we call it community-based marketing. Think about it for a second. How do you create a community without being relational? You can't. You cannot create a real healthy community unless you're relational. And if you want to maximize this business, if you want to really make an impact and make a legacy and live an amazing life, then you gotta learn how to create a community. Okay? And how do you do that? So how do you do that with the person that's right in front of you? So a transactional person would be very, very quick to make a sale. They'd be very, very quick to close the deal. They'd be very, very quick to, they focus on specific metrics. Okay. We can get hung up because on new volume and things like that, right? We talk a lot about it. We have leaderboards and everything like that. But if that's the only thing that you're focused on, you can really minimize your impact, right? Because that's not the only metric that you should be tracking. And relational stuff is very, very hard to track, okay? Because it's the way that you show up. So I talked about this before, and it's like, are you listening to people? Okay? Are you listening to people? Are you asking them questions? Okay? So like, I had a guy message me this morning about keto cream, and he's like, he wants to buy it right away. I actually don't want him to buy it right away. I want to find out why he wants keto cream. And that's going to give me a clue to what's going on in his life. And that's going to give me a clue to building a relationship with this person. And unless you're actually taking the time to do that, right? Because I think what we can do is like, be like, man, we got to, oh, someone wants ketones. Like, let's give him my link. Let's shoot him the link. Let's get that order in, and there should be an amount of urgency around it, right? But that has to be balanced out with like, are you actually finding out everything that you can about this person? Are you actually building a relationship with them? One of the most powerful things that you can do to somebody is to just listen to them. Okay? Many people don't feel like they're heard in this day and age. We're so over-connected. We're connected to more people than ever in history, but we're also feel more disconnected than we ever have in history. And you can really stand out in the marketplace. You can really maximize your impact if you really get this relational thing and transactional. The world is transactional, right? The world is transactional. You will stand out. You will be blue ocean if you are being relational. Okay? And that involves listening to people. That involves asking them the right questions. It's about finding out what they want and seeing if that platform's a fit for them. So this is actually the key to creating a team, because this is where people miss. Like if you're bringing in X amount of customers every single month, which many of us do, because like I said, it's easy stuff to people want it. And one of the biggest questions is, how do I get more promoters? How do I build a team? Right? It's not about necessarily attracting. Some of the best promoters were customers first, right? Some of the best promoters were customers first. And you want to walk people through that process, but you can't expect them to do it on their own. You can't expect them to just see what you're doing online and be like, oh, I want to be like Nancy. I want to be like, Mick. I want to be like Eduardo and Marie Claude and all of these things. Like, they're not going to just automatically do that. Okay. And I want to let you in on a secret why in a second, is that people actually don't believe in themselves. So you may be like, I'm showing up on social media. I'm not even really sure if I believe in myself yet, but I'm doing it anyway. Well, those people see you and they actually like really think that they can't do what you're doing. Okay. And what happens is when you open a conversation with them and you find out what's going on in their life, is that you can find out if this community is something that they want to be a part of, or something that would fit into their life or meet a specific need in their life. And you can be that connection point to that community. Okay? Because we actually have two things here. We have a great product and we actually have a great community. And I want to let you in on a secret. The community is actually the most powerful thing. Even though ketones are amazing, ketones like change people's lives. I've seen so many things, so many people helped by ketones, but the community is the most powerful thing that we got. And so here's a question for y'all, and that is, I know how you're all so good at promoting the ketone conversation, but how good are you at promoting the community? How good are you at finding out who needs that relational involvement, who needs to be in part of our community, right? And not just a transaction that we put through the system, we get our volume for the month kind of thing, and then we just, move on to the next one. Do you stop? Do you ask questions? Do you find out where someone's at? And when you do that, right, you can find out a lot of things about someone. And I guarantee you one thing that you're going to find out when you're dealing with people is the lack of belief in themselves, right? Because remember that we have the pillars of belief. So we have the pillars of belief. We have belief in the product, belief in the company, and belief in yourself. And most people that get involved in this, they have no problem believing in the product. It works, the company, they may not know, prove it, but what they have doubts, what they know is they doubt themselves. Okay, so if you show someone that you believe in them, so people are looking for people that believe in people. If you believe in someone, if you can develop a belief in somebody else, you can empower them to be a part of our community. So I want to challenge you. So when you're asking these questions and developing your own belief, I want you to realize that every human being on the planet, we're more similar than you might think. Okay? This world likes to pretend, and the media loves to pretend, that we're so opposite and that everybody's fighting and that there's all these different separations in society, and you're either on one end or you're on the other, and if you're on the other, you can't be friends with someone on the other. I want you to tell you that most of that's a bunch of bullshit. It's designed to divide us. It's designed to keep us apart, and it's made people miserable. You have the antidote for that poison, and that poison is a community where people are striving for better. They're trying to become the best version of themselves. I don't care what political spectrum you're at. I mean, who can't get behind that vision? Okay? Trying to be the best version of yourself. Like, it doesn't matter what you believe about anything else. It's like we should all be trying to be the best version of ourselves. That's what we owe to this world. That's what we owe because we've been created on this earth. That's why we own that we have breath in our lungs, is that we can become the best version of ourselves. We owe it to our family. We owe it to our communities. We owe it to the world to become that. You can be the catalyst to that, but you first have to connect relationally with someone, okay? So make sure, I would challenge you to get to know your customers a little bit more. I would challenge you, because we talk about stuff like follow-up, we talk about stuff like prospecting, we talk about stuff like, Facebook Lives and social media, but what we don't talk about sometimes, okay, is connecting with real human beings and recognizing that every single person that you're come in contact with has problems. They have things they're struggling with. They have hurts. They have hangups. Some of them are lonely. Some of them are angry. And asking them those questions, right? Asking them those questions and finding out more about them is the first piece in connecting with them. Because so many people, like, one of the biggest things that I've struggled with as a husband is trying to be a problem solver, right? It's like when my wife comes and tells me something, I'm like, I want to solve the problem. I want to be like, okay, this is what you need to do to fix it. And it's like, no, 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 no. I just want you to listen to me. Has anyone ever had that happen to them before? Where someone's like, I just want you to listen to me, and you try to solve the problem? I see Eduardo putting his hand up. So it's a guy, another guy. But I'll let you know, guys want to be listened to too, right? Sometimes we just want to be heard. And if someone gets that feeling like you get them, then you have that connection piece with them. So no matter who you come into contact with, no matter who that you're transacting with, like, so what I'm not saying is, I'm not saying don't be transactional, and I'm not saying just be relational. I'm saying that in your transactions, make sure that you're relational. Okay? Does that make sense? So I'm not saying don't be transactional or relational, because some people won't want to talk to you. You're gonna ask some people like, hey, like, what's going on in your life? They're gonna be like, I don't want to talk to you. I just want ketones. I want some raspberry lemonade. Right? I don't want, quit trying to ask me questions, you weirdo, Nate. So that's fine. Okay? Just recognize you'll get some people like that. Okay? You make sure your emotional intelligence is in check. Okay? And but what you're doing is you're inviting people in, and you're cracking the door open to something that's even more powerful than the ketone technology that we have, and that's our community. Okay? And if we can get that, if we can just show people a glimpse sometimes, then we can begin to move them in and draw them in and draw them close and get them on some Zoom calls and introduce them to some people, and maybe have them over. I don't know what the rules are where you're at, but have some people over, get together, hang out. One of the craziest things that when we first started this whole thing, before COVID and all of this stuff, when you could fly around and this and that, is we would just go and meet people and get in and stay at people's houses, right? And so when I stay at people's houses, get to know them, ask questions, right? Figure out who they are, spend some time with them. That's another point too, is make sure you're taking some time. So one of the biggest things that will give someone the impression that you're being transactional is the amount of time that you're willing to spend on them. Okay? And I'm not saying waste a bunch of time on drama. I'm not saying waste a bunch of time on, but if somebody has something to say, then make sure that you're there and you're not rushing off to the next thing. Make sure that you're giving them a little bit of your time. And that can be one of the biggest challenges, right, of being relational, is it actually requires time. Anybody read that book, The Five Love Languages? 5 love languages, yeah. So one of the love languages is what? Quality time. Right? And guess what you need to do to give someone quality time? You have to give them time. Okay? And I don't know if you're like me, we've got 101 things that we're doing around here. And then when I'm doing those things, there's 101 things that I probably should be doing that I'm not getting done. Okay? But if you can take time out of your busy day to listen to someone, if you can take time to actually connect with somebody, then that's going to be your key to actually making a lasting impact, because you actually stand apart from everybody else in the world. Everybody else in the world is rushed. Everybody else in the world is busy. Everyone else in the world doesn't really care about someone else. They're all about themselves. They're not about anybody else. If you can stand out, right? Ask some people some questions and express to them your belief in them, you're going to go a long way from being transactional to being relational, or both. I'm not talking about being one or the other. I'm talking about integration. Okay? Integration. You still need to hustle. You still need to reach out to lots of people. You still need to prospect, right? You still need to message people. But in the process of doing that, you know, one of the most powerful things, if you talk to someone like Jesse Lee, if you talk to somebody like these big names that we have in Prove It, you'd be shocked at how relational these people are. They have massive, massive impact in the world, massive, massive thing, massive teams. But when they talk to you, it feels like you're the only one. Feels like you're the only, it feels like you actually matter. So make people feel like that you're connecting to, and your impact will increase. Start off small and then work your way up. And it's so funny because Anna and I always like say this one thing. It all starts with one. Right? If you want to build a team, it all starts with one person. And we're not looking for superhumans here, okay? We're looking for people that have a willingness to grow, that are willing to open that door to community, that are willing to open the door to that vision of becoming the best version of themselves and maybe bringing some other people along with them. That's all you need. And if you can be one of these people that believe in other people and you can somehow get that through to somebody else and create that wild idea in their head that maybe, just maybe, they could make a huge impact if they joined you and joined hands, and you're so inspirational. So what I want you guys to do today as an action step is to follow up with 3 of your customers. Okay? And I want you to ask them how they're doing. Okay? Ask them how they're doing. Very simple. And after they tell you how they're doing, just say, tell me more. See if you can get them to open up to you a little bit. And then see what develops. Okay? That's it. It's so straightforward. I think we love to overcomplicate stuff because I don't know, I think it feeds egos sometimes to just make this stuff sound so complex that it's so hard. And it's like, you know, there's some kind of magic trick at the end of, to create a legacy business, there's some kind of magic trick, right? And it isn't. It's really, really simple. You're dealing with human beings. You're dealing with human beings with genuine wants, needs, and desires. And you have a solution to a lot of the things that they're facing with your technology and with the community that we're creating together. Everybody wants to feel some sort of significance, right? We got the platform to do it. We got the community to welcome them in and to cheer them on. I'm going to leave it at that, guys. I think I dropped a few great tips there. So, yeah.
Thank you, Nate. C'était vraiment, vraiment inspirant. Puis j'espère que vous avez pris des notes énormément parce que c'était vraiment très complet. Je vais essayer de faire un résumé dans ce que j'ai entendu, compris, parce que j'essaie de joindre Mom Life aujourd'hui et entrepreneur. J'ai quitté l'écran souvent. Mais juste pour faire du poids sur ce que Nate a dit, moi, j'envoie jamais mon lien de commande à quelqu'un qui vient me voir et qui me dit « Hey, moi, je veux des quitances, je veux perdre du poids. » Non. Je vais aller creuser, je vais aller poser mes questions. Puis, tu sais, même s'ils me disent « Ouais, mais ça ne me dérange pas tes questions, je veux juste les essayer. » Non, je ne vais pas t'envoyer mon lien tant et aussi longtemps que je n'aurai pas creusé, jusqu'à temps que tu me dises que tu en as vraiment besoin pour autre chose, puis que oui, il y a peut-être la perte de poids, mais il y a autre chose derrière ça. Fait que d'aller creuser, d'aller poser vos questions, puis de créer des relations, on ne le dira jamais assez, mais c'est hyper important. Je vais essayer d'attacher le casque à ma fille en même temps, mais vas-y, pas du vélo. Donc, de créer des relations, ça crée des clients fidèles, de considérer chaque client comme des clients VIP, d'entrer en connexion avec eux, puis même pas besoin de parler de Python, des fois juste comme le call to action de Nate, vraiment aller leur poser comment ça va aujourd'hui, aller poser des questions. Juste ça fait toute la différence. Puis, ça crée des clients fidèles, ça crée des clients SmartShip, ils font du référencement aussi éventuellement et comme j'ai un beau problème en ce moment, je suis en train de transformer tous mes clients SmartShip en promoteurs. Fait que ces gens-là vont se transformer en promoteurs éventuellement. Fait que c'est vraiment important. Puis, oui, je laisse traîner mon lien un peu partout, mais aussitôt que j'ai une commande, que je n'ai pas rentré en relation avec ces gens-là ou que mes clients ont fait du référencement puis que j'ai un nouveau client puis que je ne sais pas d'où il sort, je vais aller lui parler. C'est hyper important pour moi, le service à la clientèle. Puis, honnêtement, si vous skippez cette étape-là, c'est des clients qui n'auront pas de soutien, qui vont entrer dans le kit au flux, puis qui ne sauront pas ce qui se passe, puis qui vont penser que c'est que les Kitons ne leur font pas. Fait que d'aller créer des relations, de vraiment aller leur dire comment ça va se passer, d'aller les inclure dans les groupes de challenge aussi, hyper, hyper important. Fait que si vous ne connaissez pas le client, allez rentrer en communication avec lui tout de suite avant qu'il reçoive ses Kitons en plus, parce qu'il va avoir des changements. On le sait, on les a tous essayés. Fait que c'est sûr qu'il va avoir des changements puis qu'il va faire « Oh, qu'est-ce que c'est ça? » Fait que s'il n'y a pas de soutien, soit qu'il va être vraiment emballé ou sinon il va comme carrément lâcher parce qu'il n'y aura pas de réponse à ses questions. Fait que le call to action, d'entrer en contact avec 3 de vos clients, d'aller juste leur demander comment ils vont, puis de les faire parler un peu plus d'eux autres, d'aller vraiment poser des questions à travers tout ça. Fait que thank you, Nate. Je vais arrêter l'enregistrement, puis vous allez pouvoir poser vos questions si vous en avez. Je vais essayer. Ici.